Okay. Hello there, lovely. Good morning and welcome to Camnet TV Breakfast Show. It is a Monday and it is the 15th of Monday today in July in the year 2024. My name is Joe Smart and of course we are live on DSTV, GoTV and Facebook as well as YouTube. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we can grow the numbers together. If you're on Facebook, like the page and be sure to leave us a comment as we come with nothing but the best for you this particular morning in terms of current affairs from CHINTU to Lusaka and all over Zambia. These are some of the stories we'll be bringing to you this morning. And also going across the border in Namibia, we have received news that renowned musician Yomaps, popularly known as Yomaps, but his real name is Elton Mlenga, has been was arrested yesterday in Namibia. Now, according to Kalemba here, Yomaps to appear in Namibian court today. Celebrated Zambian singer Yomaps is this morning expected to appear in a Namibian court on immigration-related charges. The 32-year-old singer and songwriter, real names Elton Mlenga, was arrested in the early hours of Saturday as he performed at Loft nightclub in Windhoek. He was taken into detention on charges of performing in Namibia without a work permit. He came in the country on a visitor's visa but went on to perform, so we arrested him around 1 a.m. and took him into detention at Windhoek Central Police Station. A police officer that was part of the operation told Kalemba in an interview. Now that reads part of the story from Kalemba there. We can only wish our celebrated artist the best of luck as he appears in court, in the Namibian court today, and we can only wish him a safe trip or travel back home to Zambia where he belongs. Okay, let's go and see what the papers are looking like this morning before we can introduce our guest. There goes a screaming headline from our daily tabloid, the News Diggers, and it reads, UPND struggling with corruption. Revelations in FIC report show a lack of progress. That's from that story is attributed obviously to Mr. Ruben Lifuka. There he is a governance expert. Down there in green, HH Lungu condemned Trump assassination attempt. Yes, over the weekend there was an assassination made on former United States President Mr. Donald Trump at a rally in Pennsylvania, and he survived that particular assassination attempt. And the gentleman, the 20-year-old who attempted to shoot the former U.S. president, was gunned down by the intelligence service. So we can only wish, again, a quick recovery to the U.S. former President Mr. Donald J. Trump. You could see from the images that went around over the weekend and from various media reports that the bullet brushed his ear, and he is in good condition according to reports. Yeah, he is in good condition, and he survived that attempt. And for those that might not know, another attempt was made on a U.S. president or candidate. That was President Ronald Reagan back in the 1980s. I think 1986 to be precise there. So Mr. Donald Trump becomes the second United States candidate or former president to have survived an assassination attempt. Okay, let's go to another newspaper. We go to the Daily Nation. Catholic Church finally content. That's the headline from the Daily Nation. Let's see what the mast has for us this particular morning before we can introduce our guest and get into the main interview. Lungu should have state security protection. Laura. No to HH and Lungu reconciliation that involves former president getting away with corruption in the name of peace. UPND member. Trump survives assassination attempt. You can see from that image on the headline that he was bleeding from his ear. Obviously, that's why the bullet brushed him after surviving that assassination attempt. ECZ to summon parties following violence in Congo, Chirundu by elections. And also in green there, I didn't take anything from ZCCMIH government coffers. Amos Chanda. Okay, now Mr. Amos Chanda is the former nowadays they are calling them communication specialist at State House, but he is the former press and public relations assistant to the then president, former president, Mr. Edgar Lungu, and he says he didn't take anything from ZCCMIH coffers. Okay, those and many more stories, you find them in our daily tabloids right here in Zambia. But for now, let's get into our main interview where we'll begin to look at a lot of issues, a number of issues, if you like I said, from Congo to Chirundu to Namibia and now to Lusaka, Zambia, to discuss these and many more other stories I have on set. Mr. Jairus Ngoma. Now, Mr. Jairus Ngoma comes from the opposition party, the leadership movement. He joins me on set this morning to discuss these issues. Mr. Ngoma, good to see you and welcome to Camnet TV Breakfast.
Thank you very much, Brother Joe, and the viewers out there. We are very, very grateful yet again to have this interaction with the media. And Brother Joe and the bigger spectrum of the media, we've been on point saying your rewards are in heaven. This side of life, leadership movement has taken it upon itself. We'll be speaking for you. We condemned this threat which was mounted on you, the media. When you do business to do with politics, people forget easily that government comprises with 4 arms. And among the 4 arms, you, the media, you are the ones who've been at the receiving end of all sorts of atrocities. How can someone dare you to say, should you report a particular member of a particular party, then will come and close you? Then we were wondering, said, who is this person? And he's claiming to be a lawmaker. And to come and start uttering, when we want such a one, you saw retracting the word, but as we don't call it retracting because it was out of compulsion. But we don't want such minds to continue try to bring the draconian way of doing politics. We need to love ourselves, because if you, the media, are going to be threatened, how are the ordinary people going to get the information? That's why we always challenge even this government that for it to be in office, it's the media, most especially the private media. And we always challenge now, even the high cost of living, media are not exceptional. You have challenges as well, and we always challenge this Madam Tamba. What has she been doing with the media? And not necessarily you, the private, even the public. So now, when we speak like this, Brother Joe, we don't have any leakage, but because we interact with the media on the daily basis, so as we are speaking now, we are on load shedding.
Okay.
These equipments are blowing day in, day out.
So, Mr. Ngoma, apparently our numbers are not yet open, but we do have a caller. Probably they would like to speak to you.
Okay.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. You are through to Camnet TV Breakfast.
Thank you. I'm suggesting Mr. Ngoma there.
Yes, you'd like to speak to him?
Yeah, I'd like to commend Mr. Ngoma. He's very wise what he says. That one should be included in government. He's a wise man.
Okay. You are Mr.?
This is Mr. Peace.
Okay, Mr. Piri. Okay. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Ngoma is very good otherwise. What he says is just a point.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Mr. Piri there, coming through to commend you, Mr. Ngoma. But let's get into it. After giving those opening remarks, we thank you that you hold dearly members of the press at heart. Mr. Ngoma, we appreciate you for those kind words. Now, moving on, let's find out. There were by-elections that were held. The leadership movement took part. We have seen images, reports coming from where these by-elections were taking place, that there was a bit of violence, not a bit, but there was violence. We saw images of individuals being bundled up in a police vehicle, and we are aware that an independent member won a by-election, that these by-elections in, for instance, is it Churundu, where an independent member won a by-election, beating obviously the ruling party and some opposition political parties. But let me find out from you, Mr. Ngoma. You had your man on the ground. You are familiar with what was happening. Bring us up to speed, sir.
Thank you very much. To start with, Brother Joe, your job is very critical, pivotal, and above all, you are arming the people with the relevant happenings in the country, because for us, we've been challenging the electorate that T-shirts should no longer be a program. Tenges should not be a program.
Okay.
We need to be demanding real values, because the one who is giving you T-shirts, ask them where those monies are coming from. And this is why you are seeing scammers coming in the name of an investor, trying to get your birthright, and you are busy getting those T-shirts. So if you look at what is happening in the political space, we can assure you that UPND, we are just warning them that people are not going to be feeding these by-elections. Because we have very pertinent issues which are pressing. Look at the food basket today. They are saying it has come down to from 10,600 to 10,400 somewhere there. But us, because we are on the ground, Brother Smart, actually it has even skyrocketed. The reason is very simple. It's a buying power which is at play here.
Okay.
People are going without meals. So as a result, the way they used to be flocking, they have shrunk. So it's not practical, but we respect it from their end. Okay. But ours is because we are rubbing shoulders with the people on the ground. So now, the by-elections that the UPND is trying to brag that they've managed to scoop, we are just laughing ourselves, because that's not something that can be a yardstick to show them that they are popular. No, it should be starting from the way of being, the chakodia. How are people being fed? Because these by-elections, they are costly, by the way. Remember, Brother Joe, if you remind the UPND that PF used to be winning these by-elections. But time came for reckoning. So these by-elections you are seeing, number one, for us, which was very crucial, is the southern province, where the entire province, just to come and take a simple word, and our candidate was in danger. Imagine we had to rescue his family. Even him we had to what? Imagine.
Danger from whom?
From the perceived enemy in this context is the UPND, of course.
Okay.
Because they needed the young man to be out of the ballot, and at the same time he received the threats, but we had the intelligence. Okay. What we did was to say, can you get your family out of your home? And even him afterwards, we thank God for people, you know, these security personnel. Their job is to protect life. We are very grateful because they saved this young man in their home, and at some point we had to get him now to a place where he was to seek refuge. What are we saying? If you can have all the, in fact, as we'll be coming ourselves, we are going to work to this road. Do you know that, Brother Joe, we used to have a by-election being conducted within the jurisdiction of the people around that place. But what is happening now? They are importing. They will get cadres from where? There was intimidation, not that, and there was even voter apathy in most of the places, because when they just see a person, who are you going to be voting for? That was 4,000 province for you. Because we came number 2 there. So, kujanjoka tapaya, man.
So this by-election, Mr. Ngoma, was, but let's talk about this by-election where your candidate is allegedly to have been issued with threats. It was being done in Choma Central.
This is exactly the place where Honorable Cornelius Mweto is coming from.
Choma Central.
Choma Central for you. And if they think they are trying to bounce with confidence, as we are telling them now, leadership movement has shown Zambians that Southern Province is no longer the so-called their bedroom. Taipa and joke.
Politics has changed?
Because we were supposed to be given whitewash. Remember what they did in Dudumwezi? In Dudumwezi they dribbled us. They went unopposed. And they continued in Gwembe. They almost also threatened our candidate. But we've been persistent. This time around you saw what happened. And that is a signal that Southerners, they are not people that you can think you can put them in your own pocket. It has spoken there. So if we are to tell you, we want to appreciate the people of Southern Province because they gave us a thunderous support and the security.
And you came out number 2.
Number 2 from UPND. Records are there. So now, if leadership movement is telling the UPND, as we are talking of politics of values, there were Amafisa kind of giving me all that kind of a thing. And because
doesn't that go against the electoral code, Mr. Ngoma, where during an election you have to distribute meal, cooking oil, wrappers or chitenge materials, if you like, and any other food items that you distribute during a by-election or any general election? Doesn't that go against the electoral code?
Unfortunately, ECZ, because these are referees, they are supposed to take charge, but ECZ, they are very innocent. The only problem is that they seem to lack the stamina. What do we mean by this? We needed to have a very strong arm where it should be activated. Laws are there, but all we lack is that the political players seemingly they seem to have an upper hand, because laws are very clear. You are not supposed to induce anybody. Once you are found, you are supposed to be disqualified. Okay? But because there is this aspect where they've invested in violence and they have invested in intimidation of ordinary people, and they get people who are not residing in those areas. So they will go there, and whoever who is perceived not to follow their demands, they will brutalize such a one. And now, because the leadership movement, the way we are doing politics, if you are followed, we are not into money dishing. Ours is about ideology base. No. And this is why when you go to Southern Province, we have got programs to do with at Baita FM. We are running our weekly program there, and Southerners, when they have problems, for example, to do with the animal vaccination in places where people are being surcharged. You know, you take your head of cattle, they tell you that you are supposed to pay a 10 kwacha. Meanwhile, the government is saying this vaccine should be free. Who were they running to? It's leadership movement. That is Kankata for you. Village Shimaturi Chief in Alwama. And we've been there in Livingstone. People are almost displaced on their piece of land. That is Eureka areas. You go, it was breweries there. there is a swampy area there. The side part, the chairman there was attacked by the reptile, the crocodile. He's late as we are speaking. Now what are we telling you? Our politics, we want Zambians now to start attaching, not that is an insult, we are talking of attaching some values to demand what is our birthright. In this context, the land is very, very crucial, and we should be looking at how are we going to be productive as a country. We should demand that we go in a lane where Zambians should have the decency in their own land, because the title deeds are the game changer. But if we are going to have politics where people are just obsessed with the pettiness, they just want to dangle a carrot. In fact, we were challenging the constitution now. That leadership movement has started already. Remember, in Mahembe, they bought our candidate. They bought our candidate, and we wrote to ECZ to say, ECZ, carry on with those by-elections.
Is there proof to that effect, Mr. Go?
My brother,
or it is an allegation? People
who are listening, they will tell you, even I don't know, even in this house, we must have floated that. Where the candidate was bought at Mahembe by-elections, we wrote to ECZ, because initially they were supposed to trigger a by-election. Even Kayo, they did some other party that withdraw and write to ECZ to say, no, we have withdrawn. For us, when our candidate, it was all over the media.
Who bought your candidate?
Of course, the political competitors, these people who have no ideologies. We are saying no ideologies because you cannot waste taxpayers' money by just triggering unnecessary by-election when we are supposed to be looking at real issues. And in our case, these by-elections are not a priority. So if we are to speak now, we are suggesting leadership movement, we are going to come up with another caveat, just like we did. If you're on the line of leadership movement, you can't resign before an election. It's either you resign before or after. Because once we nominate you, we are not going to allow anybody to misuse taxpayers' money. And that is in our record. ECZ has got our record. And in this context,
is that part of your party constitution?
Yes,
Mr.
Yes, and this is why we even challenge the churches to say, how can we have the national constitution where it says Dr. Richard Silumbe should be free to chicken out at the most critical moment of his democratic right? That is not adding up, because we were wondering also the IQ of the lawyers. How can you have such a lapse? Because we can turn this country into flames. The law should be very tight. If you, Brother Joe Smarter, or I should say, if Ngoma, because they may think you have joined politics, your job is different. But if Ngoma is on the ballot, Ngoma, should they find that he's withdrawing and they take him to Chainama, is okay, they should cage him. Because you cannot be playing with people's minds. Because this is very, very important. How should you allow Ngoma to be just misusing taxpayers? Then you say, no, it's his democratic right. No. So we are warning now all these people who are being dangled the carrot, because we know, we have information, our own young people were approached to say, can you resign, we give you the job, so that they seem to be like solving a problem. So we are warning all those people who are triggering this by-election, starting with the ones who are initiating, and these who are accepting, who come and catch them. Because such ones are the ones who are helping this unnecessary expense of money. Because imagine if people were morally upright. How can you be induced to cause a by-election, they tell you we are going to give you a job, then you accept? It means you're also corrupt. So we need a law where any candidate, for as long as you're in a particular ticket, if you happen to chicken out for reasons apart from you not being insane, because when you are insane it's a different thing, but where you are okay, then you cause a by-election for whatever reasons. For us, we are going to make sure that such a law, we are starting with our own, because when we come, we just activate them. Already, we are challenging the nation now. We saved a lot of money in Mahembe there, because if we were a party which was not so responsible, do you know what was going to happen? We are going to have the repeat of Kayo. It was also going to take place, and that's a lot of money. As we are talking right now, people are learning a lesson. You followed the withdrawal of PF in Choma. But it didn't trigger any by-election. Reason, you know why? ECZ has got a record that leadership movement, they wrote to us, they didn't want to swear. So if this person is chickening out at the last minute.
Mr. Ngoma, let me find out from you. Are you controlling the narrative of this particular country? Because you are on record as leadership movement to have suggested that government, or you'll be running your government through state farms when it comes to agricultural activities. We have seen this being adopted by the UPND government, and you are on record again having talked about the by-elections, and that if one candidate withdraws, it shouldn't trigger a by-election. And we have seen that happening. Are you then, Mr. Ngoma, maybe let me bring this to your attention. Are you controlling the narrative?
Thank you very much. The politics platform should be an avenue of bankable ideas. And Dr. Richard Sirumbe, he's coming on the political block, is to challenge that we need a Zambia of the 1991, a Zambia of 1964, because if you look at the Zambia of 1964, those people did not waste time to start looking for donors. They believed in themselves that they needed to liberate us. Here we are today, Brother Joe. We have the independence. And the 1991 Zambia, they said, no. We demand, we need a multipartism. And President Dr. Kenneth Kaunda at the time, he didn't even finish his term. He allowed the referendum. Today, we have the what? We have the multipartism. Now, we are looking at a Zambia now where we need to add a lot of values to our political discourse. So leadership movement is leading the way, because imagine you check their records, the way they were spending money, and look at leadership movement. Very humble way of doing business. It was just allowing ideas to go on the platform. And as we are speaking, we are happy that the Electoral Commission of Zambia did not succumb to the previous, because they've got a template. Imagine if such a step was not taken by us. What was going to happen was they withdraw that person. It was going to force a cancellation. Okay. And again, you start, which was going to be very costly on our part. So we are saying we have the masterpiece, because even as we are speaking right now, the new dawn didn't come with a 10-point plan. We didn't see anything to talk of the ZNS there. But we have the template. We are the ones who started that we needed.
Are you suggesting that they are adopting your ideas?
It's not a fully kind of adoption, but they are start. Because they came as capitalists, they were telling Zambian people that we have got connections, American friends who come, we are going to bring investors, these comers now. And the head of state, you know, he was quick to mention on the Think report, right? But on the land, where if it was God, he was going to have a state of emergency. Just from landing is a meeting. But where God is being mined, he has never commented. And we know that from the point of a minister, is having the jurisdiction up to 1 million hectares of land. Now, that was exceeding a 1 million hectares. It was 6 million. So, meaning, we cannot be told statement that it was just a proposal. Brother Joe, if he am to propose to Kamkazi Kachibemba ka Madam Mlenga, ngati sikali interested kazakamba tukwamene uko sinikutambeba ina kuchipata. But imwasimata mkaona wa missing mbewe. It means this person is interested in the marriage proposal. Now, how come they were entertaining that proposal, Brother Smart? And they are quiet. The head of state is not mentioning about the birthright, the land. But the intelligence, Financial Intelligence Center, he was quick. So we are wondering, is it by design that they can, because that's what we've been talking tough about the land. So if you follow our ideology, we are looking at the well-being of the Zambian people, and this is why today the new dawn, we are telling them the only way they can try to manage what is happening there is when we take charge of our full responsibility to do with our resources, the land, because land is everything. That's where our minerals are. we were supposed to be entertaining the nuclear power plant now because we have the uranium there, and UPND, they cannot mention it. And this is why we are laughing, Brother Joe. You hear the head of state lamenting at the engineering institution of Zambia, saying, no, my engineers manilekerera. So what is it? Because the head of state has been invited several times by ECZ, EIZ, to go and listen to himself. The challenges.
Is this on record, Mr. Ngoma?
My brother,
have to be fast.
Go to EIZ headquarters here, going to just go there and check how many times they have invited the head of state to attend the interviews. Okay. He has never, instead he has invited the bankers to State House there. Okay? So now, how can he be crying the loudest? What has he invested in engineers himself? Even him as an economist, let him tell us, apart from the misery he has brought to this country, what is it that he can tell us that, no, I've done? Because these economists, for us, we've been challenging them. They are specialized in counting money which they don't know where it is coming from. We are very candid on this one. Because how can you be the chief marketer of a particular company where you neglect production? You can't go that route. The head of state was supposed to go primary industry. But look, on the hierarchy of need, Brother Joe, we have food. Food followed by shelter. Shelter, education. But we have one economist who comes, education is the best equalizer. We are laughing. Because before you come in.
Just on education, Mr. Ngoma, the head of state himself said that he is a beneficiary of free education, hence he has reintroduced free education. And we have seen many children that were not going to school previously accessing education, though it's coming with its own challenges. But there you have free education, Mr. Ngoma. Shouldn't that be commended?
My brother, we are here to encourage ourselves, to educate ourselves, and to love ourselves. At the same time, we rebuke ourselves. And this very government, we are telling it now that they should change the narrative. It's not UPND which brought the free education. People should be very clear about this. Free education came with UNIP. UNIP initiated it. Then MMD, under David Mwanawasa, they reintroduced it. PF continued with it. These people said from kindergarten to university. So we want to set the record straight. It's not true that it's this government which has brought the free education. And what does the word free mean? Because what he's talking about, the head of state, is true. He even made it clear that the UNIP regime made him to be where he is today. Now, if you ask him to retract his memory, you will discover that that regime was productive. ZNS was more productive than Zofola. And there was UPZ Mabases and Zokonka Wantukuma means, bringing them into this town so that they tap into the energy of the young people. Now, this free education that they are talking about, where is it? Because Muzapeza nkalamba wana makolo wana mwalira wana tuwazukuru tukangwenda ku skulu buku nizingati lero tenti one my uniform tenti one sapato mubata tenti one kudya. The head of state cannot tell us that education can suppress or can replace the food. So is what we are talking about. Education is not something bad. It's a very good thing. But we need to prioritize. We need to start from food. From food to shelter, education. But to be lying, we are saying lying, to tell us that education is a best equalizer. Because the best equalizer in life, when you eat, Brother Joe Smart, even if you are not privileged, God has given you a particular talent. Ngoma has been given that one. Because you cannot tell us just to build a fence in an engineering setup. Kulinyamula che block echa kupeleka pali bamene bambanga bamaplikera then mfuna mkamunda chose chizungu uniko tu ku state farm handling a pick and a shovel. So in essence we are saying that in engineering there are three categories of labor. There is semi-skilled, unskilled labor, and skilled labor. So if the president is trying to lament to say no, engineers have failed me, we are telling him now that we have uranium in this country. We need to take advantage now because we're in a global village. Brother Josmat, when you talk of uranium, you hear people, no, it's very dangerous. We had two instances. We had the Fukushima in Japan and the one, the Chernobyl in Ukraine. And now, those facilities, the way they build them, is a swamp area or the sea area. We can go and start one at Bangweulu there. And before you come in, we do one at Bangweulu, and we know that this is the money spinner who take advantage of the mineral which does not know drought. But you not hear anybody to talk about uranium in this regime because they are so scared to the bone. Because when you go to UTH now, or any private hospitals who are doing these x-rays, we are already in the technological age, Brother Joe. Okay. Because that room is specially built. There is a lead sheet around it to protect the gamma rays. We have the equipment which is there to tell you that this technology works. So why can't we go the route of that so that we deal with the energy once and for all? And the emergency one, the immediate one, we are supposed to be talking to Russia now, so that using the Mozambique corridor, we start tapping energy into our country, because Russia is helping African countries.
Just kindly hold your thought, Mr. Ngoma. We do have a caller. Hello, good morning. Very well. Okay, you can kindly go ahead with your contribution.
How are you, sir, there?
Good morning, madam. How are you today?
I am well, thank you. Sir, as politicians, I think as a nation, we are tired of hearing tribal remarks, and we're also tired of saying we are providing this solution and this solution. Can you, as politicians, sit down and find out the issue that we are dealing with, which you've also alluded to, is the issue of junkies. What are we going to do about this situation? I know junkies come from homes and everything, but the government can also help us, and you politicians can help us in thinking. That ZNS that you are talking about, can't you take those children to ZNS farms, state-owned farms, to go and learning skills? The reason why these children are becoming junkies is because they have nothing to do. Now, if we take them to the farms to say, as much as you are here, my farms, whatever you make, government will be paying you from the farms that you are farming in, providing shelter for them. Because this situation of junkies, I just woke up this morning and my battery was gone in the car. And my street is full of junkies. So how many times am I going to move? Sir, please, as politicians, let's put aside our manifestos, our this. Let's focus on Zambians. Your opening statement was that we should do things to work for God. You are working for us as Zambians. Who also look at us as children of God, please. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Joe, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much for coming through. That's our caller from within Lusaka there. Unfortunately, she had her battery stolen from her vehicle. Sorry to hear that. But this is the reality, Mr. Ngoma, that is obtaining in many parts of Lusaka and Zambia. Unproductive youths, it's not their fault entirely. There are no opportunities out there according to them, and they are subjected now to begin to steal from members of the public, Mr. Ngoma. Street kids as well, attacking people in the night, coupled with unproductive youths, now whom we call junkies. Is this a ticking time bomb, Mr. Ngoma?
I want to appreciate our mother. The way she was talking, she was speaking for the nation. Because, you know, mothers, they have a heart. They have a heart of Ubuntu. You are because I am because you are. For her to come out like this is probably not the first time. If you followed her well, she's been on the receiving end of this and a productive energy which is all over.
And she's saying how many times is she going to shift?
Exactly. This is why, if you followed when we are highlighting that even in these by-elections, we are looking at the mindset transformation of the very people. Because what she's saying is exactly what we are trying to challenge the new dawn. That if they are a government which listens, because we started from day one telling these people that you cannot run an economy with a Marandakano. Rhetorics.
Okay.
So this is what we've been talking about, that even when the time they were removing these people from the streets, we told them, where are you taking them? You should have a plan, a masterpiece. These people are supposed to be taken now to the state farms. Once you take them to the state farms now, it means you are tapping into the energy of the young people. Because for us, we are looking at the solution to do with the food security. And lately, we've been buzzing the message that even the so-called correction service, we are going to turn it into labor camps, so that if people go there, there should be, you remember Americans, they go to China because of cheap labor there. Imagine, like the way she has rightly alluded, we were supposed to have a natural way of controlling this energy, which is loose. Because it's not true that we cannot tap into the energy of the people who are not educated. It's not true that it's only the educated people. That's why I was highlighting the categories of the labor. Like she's rightly put it, surely can we wait for someone to come and tell us, a foreigner, to say, no, now take these junkies. And by the way, we feel sad. These are children who are supposed to be the gift to us, like she rightly put it. They are coming from homes. Imagine if we are the government which can now start looking at how to transform these young people in a real sense. Now the problem...
She talked about you politicians. Your children are in Dubai, your children are in the UK, your children are in America, they're in Malaysia, they're in these developed countries with developed economies. But while the children of a voter, an ordinary Zambian, is being referred to as a junkie because obviously they don't have opportunities. But they are in Kadingalinga, they are in Misisi, they are in Baulen, they are in Kuchupulukusu, they are in Mandanga, whichever part of the country where the marginalized live, Mr. Ngoma. While the child of the politician keeps on flying in and out of Zambia, enjoying taxpayers' money. You are speaking so well. We've seen individuals like you speak so well. And obviously, the Zambian people have entrusted them with authority in successful governments. But not much has been done to address the plight of the young people, Mr. Ngoma. The population of Zambia, the majority is from 15 years to 35 years, which is a young population. What is being... If you, in an event that leadership movement forms government, Mr. Ngoma, what are you going to do to make sure that you reduce the unemployment rate? Not only being employed to work for government, but also making the private sector favorable for young people to be employed and be able to thrive and compete like their counterparts, those that are working for the civil service, Mr. Ngoma. What are you going to do as leadership movement to address the plight of the young people?
Thank you very much. I'll still echo the madam, what she spoke so passionately. And we are humbled because Zambians, we are ready. We are already set mentally on how we can solve these problems. The problem is the rigidity of the leaders. Because if you can have a leader who understands production, you don't have to be told, Brother Josimata, that for you to solve your problems at home, if at all you are facing these economic hardships like now, where you have the water reticulation at your place, assuming you have even a well, because I'm saying this, understanding that load shedding is another thing, where you can do a simple backyard gardening. It means instead of you going and buy your rep, you go at the backyard, then that one for rep, it is going to help you buy the pencils and all that.
Okay.
So this government...
Just on that one, please kindly hold your thought, Mr. Ngoma. We do have a viewer that would like to speak to you. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
You sound muffled. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Can you get me now?
Just kindly speak up or kindly move off from where you are, sir. Hello?
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you are audible now.
Okay. Thank you so much. We would like to appreciate what you are doing, bringing politicians on TV and speak to us about our country.
Thank you, sir.
What I can say is just like Abba said, we appreciate it, but I think I would like to say we are disappointed with politicians telling us attacking the other people that are in government. And this is the trend that is taking. If you look at the past government, they were in power and they failed to address the issues that Zambia voted them for. Okay. Now they've come back telling us that they are going to make the economy good. But what I'm saying is that we want to tell the politicians, if you have the heart for this country, you do not fight each other. What you do is you come together and look at the issues that are facing the people of this country. But you are busy attacking yourself. And yet, you politicians are you have the knowledge, you have acquired the knowledge, you have the intelligence to see and organize this country's economy. But you are spending time to fight each other. Right now, in Sangoma there, he's attacking UPN. When UPN was in the opposition, they were attacking Edgar Lungu. Edgar Lungu now is attacking them. Instead of you people sitting and looking at the cries of these Zambians that have voted for you. They didn't just go there. He's saying we are tired. We are saying we are tired too. You sit down and look at the true pictures of this country, the needs of this country. Our livelihoods are very important. You are just there to tell us that this is what you are giving us those ideas. We know all about them. What we want as you politicians, we all use on it. Dr. Kaunda did the best for this country and Manawat. But you have all the intelligence and the knowledge. That's why you are talking about that, Mr. Boma. Yeah? So organize yourself. Forget about where I come from. We are Zambians. All of us are Zambians. There's no one who's going to come and stop us. Even if we get Congolese, we will still fight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Ngoma, our caller here is echoing what our first caller, the lady that came through. But they are almost one and the same, Mr. Ngoma. The Zambian people are fatigued with rhetoric. They are fatigued with promises. They are fatigued with assurances. What they are looking for is an implementer, somebody who's coming with solutions to the economic challenges that Zambia is facing. Unlike rhetoric, and we are now quoting Bible verses to deal with the economic and social ills that this country is failing. Our caller here is saying, can you organize yourselves as politicians? Forget about which particular political party or which region you come from. Work together and look at the bigger picture, which is Zambia. Why can't we see that happening, Mr. Ngoma?
Thank you very much. I think those who've been following leadership movement, I was here when we were talking about the tribalism issue. We made it very clear, going by the solution, that we can learn from countries like Rwanda, that on the NRC, the moment we hear Ngoma, you're coming from where? Eastern Province. Tribe Ngoni, remove the Ngoni. We put Zambia there.
Okay.
You are Mr. Kasune, coming from where? Serenje. I mean, Kabwe here. You remove the tribal tag, put Zambia there. So that we don't have this acrimony of tribal, because we'll be treating each other as Zambians. The Rwandese have done it. And we've been championing on the issue of solutions. In case people don't know, we have running programs at Yangeni Radio, in Mansa there. We have programs at Wapura Radio running. We have programs at Wansanse talking about our ideology, the land.
But why can't we
listen now? I want him to understand that when he talks of solution, this 6 million hectares of land people represent, they don't know where it is coming from. We started the ideology. We are being challenged. Yangeni the mkamnya kwise mpanga, mpanga yaripwa, mama sirume twaleve but imwe. If Bamtolo, you go to the office of Honorable Bamtolo, how come they are giving Kenyans chance and chance of land, then you are saying you have got no land.
But this is the same thing, Mr. Ngoma, that our caller is just from saying, and the other lady, what she was saying. When the PF were in opposition, they were condemning the administration of the late President Dr. Patrick Levy Mwanawasa, may he so rest in peace. They were condemning his administration. We saw our president unfortunately dying in office. His vice president, Mr. Rupia Bwezanibanda, may he so rest in peace, took over. We saw the PF condemning the MMD. As God would have it, he's a God of chances. He gave the PF a chance to rule. The UPND came through, condemning the PF. The UPND were telling us, when they are flying, when they look down, they see water, they see money. But they will build canals to connect into Kariba. They will demolish structures in Forest 27 because it's a water recharge center. But they will condemn Kadarism, they don't like it, and they are always victims, they are always being attacked. This is what our caller is saying. We are tired as Zambian people of you politicians blaming your friends, blaming your colleagues, and yet when you are given a chance to begin to steer the wheel of this economy, you begin to give us excuses, Mr. Ngoma. Sure, you know that El Nino is upon us. Sure, you know that we have load shedding. Sure, you know that we have issues with unemployment amongst the youths. We don't need you to tell us. We need solutions, Mr. Ngoma. You've heard from our callers. Why can't you come together as politicians, have an endeavor, and push the Zambian agenda forward? Unlike making camps, and yet when you make these camps, nothing productive comes out of these camps. We only hear you insulting each other, suspending each other, name-calling yourselves. Why is it like this?
Thank you very much, Brother Joe. I think if we are going to be fair, these people are very valid in whatever they are saying, collectively so. Why we mean collective? Even them, they are included into this, because we are into this because, number one, the electorate were not asking the incumbent to say, Mwakambati 10 hours, 14 hours can become on dollar tumbling down. Where were we to question them? Within 4 hours, what kind of production? When I come, you'll be fed 3 times a day. These people are not even asking questions. Even you, the media, where were you? Somebody tells you, no, when I come, fertilizer will be bought at 250. The how question. But with leadership movement, we have come with solutions. In case these people have forgotten, we are talking of, they have heard about the ZNS issue. Who started it? We are talking here about the issue to do with load shedding. You heard our mom talking about the ZNS, state farms. Who's championing it? These are solutions we are bringing. And we are talking of politics of values, that we need to defend what is ours. That's why we are talking of the NAS, nationalistic agenda for Zambia, where Zambians, we should no longer call our own children as junkies. That is forex. We are supposed to take them to state farms and tap into their energy. You stop giving land to the people. And now when we hear that, no, you are condemning, we are pointing the wrong. Because condemning, it ends at you just crying. But you are hearing here, we are telling them that the load shedding issue, we want to use the God-given resource, which does not know drought, for God's sake. And the problem which is here, we have forgotten that we are in a global village. As we are talking right now, Egypt, they are being helped by the Russians. Remember, Russia is helping Egypt because of the technology.
But Mr. Ngoma, we live in a global village, but then again, we need homegrown solutions. I think that's what even the president was calling upon our local engineers, not knowing whether maybe load shedding is beyond them, but we do have capable, brilliant minds, engineering minds in this country, Mr. Ngoma. I know of a number of them. But let me find out from you. You're talking of Russia. In an event that you form government, you partner with Russia. How about coming up with homegrown solutions? Because we've seen this, calling foreign countries to come and sort out your problems, and yet you, the owners of the country, are failing to sort out your own problems. Mr. Ngoma. Are you then saying that you are going to delegate the problems of this country or challenges that this country is facing to other countries, such as Russia?
Thank you very much. What we mean by that is that Zambia is endowed with a lot of resources. And our forefathers, when they were fighting the independence, they forgot to remind us the importance of the natural resources that we have. But our friends, they were taught, you guys, you have lost it out now. Without Africa, you are not going to exist. So can you improve on your technologies? So our friends, they know Africa has all what it takes. The problem is, us Africans, we don't understand how valuable we are. That's why we are saying this mineral.
But it's you, the politicians, that tell us that we do not have the capacity as
This
Africans.
is now.
You have told us that Zambians do not have the capacity to run their own mines. I have sat here with a former minister, a former employee of the mines, Mr. Ngoma, who told me that the mines were in the colonial days or post-colonial days, the mines were being run by Zambians. We had bosses that were Zambians. Even up to now, the mines are still being run by Zambians. But you, the politicians, come here, you tell the Zambian people, you tell the media on the floor of parliament that Zambians do not have the capacity. Why don't you tell us that we do not have the capacity to do A, B, C, D when you're soliciting for our votes, Mr. Ngoma? Why should you do it after you form government? Isn't that arrogance and a lack of empathy for the suffering majority Zambian people?
Going forward, Zambia should demand an agreement with us, the politicians. We should append somewhere, as you are vying for an office, right here. If you are going to misbehave, we are going to have you caged. Because what is happening now is this. The one who is funding these political parties is the one who has it all. So that's why we are bringing these facts so that Zambians know that, remember, UNIP, Super Ken and his group, they didn't have anywhere to be, to pay allegiance to. Because the Zambian people supported those people. They went and they managed to flush out the colonial mass, and when the rain came now to their leaders, Land Rover, our parents had to buy for our leaders, University of Zambia. They built it. It was the land of a white man there, in case people don't know. They bought it.
But why can't we see more University of Zambia, for instance, being built now that we have more educated leaders? You know that the Kaunda administration had a few educated people, and the Zambian population was small with a few educated people, but they managed to build University of Zambia. But why can't we have a number of University of Zambia, like for instance, the way University of Zambia is? We have one in Western Province, we have one in Wapula Province, we have one in Central Province. Why can't we see that happening? All we see is borrowing, and the money that is being borrowed or the grants that are coming, nobody's even accounting and telling us that it's being used for this purpose. Now the project that we started has reached this level. MPs in parliament are complaining that CDF hasn't yet reached their accounts. The councils do not have the capacity to run, to manage these monies. Are we then good managers as Zambians, Mr. Ngoma, or we are failing lamentably to manage the affairs of this country?
Zambians at large, they are not a problem. The culprits are us leaders.
You, the politicians.
Yes, and this is why I said collectively, because if you siphon each one of us, you are going to see that leadership movement is slightly okay, because ours, we have come to arm people with the right to information, because we know that they want to dwell much on vizungu. Kulibanga de vizungu hivi brother. That's why we always say that opunzira na osapunzira tonse ndise bantu. Lero prioritization yambie pali chakudya. Imagine we are so obsessed with my by-election hivi. If you are to look at how much, and recently we had the appetite of triggering another 9
by-elections.
And technically with the other expulsion it was coming to 10. Now if you look at that money, it's not easy. If we were supposed to have government printers doing his work, printing things locally, is what we solve resources, and we start coming up with a manufacturing plant of fertilizer locally here.
And what would be your policy on printing of ballot papers? We do have government printers. We do have local printing companies who have the capacity, Mr. Ngoma, to print the exact copies that you print in, is it these foreign countries? I don't want to mention names.
Yes.
Where you go and print these ballot papers, we have capable companies here in Zambia that can do that job within a week. It's done, or within 24 hours, whatever days. But they are capable of doing that job. Why do we see? Do you have a policy as leadership movement on that?
In fact, as we are going to mention, we've been flipping to the airport from Dubai. When we are printing like Dubai, and that paper is very expensive. Okay, and why is it that, Brother Ismata, when it comes to NRC, you get free of charge? Nobody questions. We are about 18 to 20 million Zambians here, and the voters card again you get for free. But where it matters most, we are alone as a leadership movement, more especially on the inheritance, the land. And we are wondering, where are the Zambians? And this notion where for you to give a vote to a particular candidate at Kanofe Tuswemo, this is the mind we are coming to panel bit.
But it's you, the politician.
This is why now we are arming people. I've just given you an example where we're coming from Southern Province. We've been planting an ideology. If you go at Baita FM, every Friday we're running programs. Imagine if all political parties had the time to take their ideology to various media platforms and tell them that this is what we are trying to come and do. Like leadership movement, we are talking of land ownership. We are talking about labor being what it is, educated or not. We have to go in state farms. We are talking about Zambians. They need to demand that this country at 60, we are supposed to have the mineral reserve agency so that we do things of our own. Like you challenged me when I was talking about lobbying a technology from Russia, because Russia, they may not have the material, the raw material, but they have the technology. We are the Ngombeirede, where value for value. Okay? So,
system.
Yes. So now Zambia's got all these resources. You have the arable land. You see people dishing it, and the head of state is mute. How many days now? When we had that scandal, he can't cough.
Okay. We do have a caller, Mr. Ngoma. Obviously, our caller would like to speak to you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Very well, sir. Your name and where are you calling us from?
Okay, so this is Willie Zulu. I'm calling from Chivombo.
Okay, Mr. Zulu, kindly go ahead.
Okay, so firstly, as a listener, it's a bit difficult for me to single in on what I can contribute in, because when I tuned in, you people have discussed in brief, each in brief. You talked of the University of Zambia, talked of this and that. So it's very difficult for us viewers to contribute. However, I would like to say something about politicians, including my brother who is there.
Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so I think my point to my brother who is there is that when people are in the opposition, they usually want to come across as extremely intelligent, providing this suggestion and that suggestion, but when they are in office, I think whatever it is they could have been saying in the opposition becomes painfully difficult to implement. Now, here is my question to the gentleman.
Okay.
Has it been very difficult, before the formation of your party, was it very difficult for you to identify any other political party you could have opted to join? Because when you form your own political party, the first impression you create is that amongst all other opposition political parties, no one shares your vision, no one shares your passion, and you decide, okay, let's go it alone. Because the challenge we have in this country is that we have far too many opposition who do not necessarily, in fact, contribute anything during election. You have a party that wins 5. You have a party that does not even field a single member of parliament, and yet you claim to be there. So, what prompted you to form your political party? Is it that your ideology is any different from other political parties? Thank you so much and good morning.
Okay, good morning and thank you so much, Mr. Zulu there, coming through. Mr. Ngoma, I think the message is loud and clear from Mr. Zulu there. Please address his concern.
Mr. Zulu is a patriotic Zambian. We are very grateful to have people like him. Mr. Zulu, I don't know, like you rightly put it, that you must have joined this program when you found us in. Mr. Zulu, go to ECZ and find out that amongst the political players, which party has written to ECZ, even in an event where EC candidate has been bought off, we say no, we can't continue misusing the resources. We wrote to ECZ to say we are not in support. Whoever is purporting to be bought, he or she knows. In that context, we saved a lot of money. Mr. Zulu, tell me one political party which has got the heart for the Zambian people. There in Kabwe, can you find out if you go at Mpima there, forest, they will tell you previous government that gazetted that forest. In this regime, which party went to stood with the people of Kabwe? As we are talking right now, Mr. Zulu, nobody is standing for the Zambian people concerning land, including places like Airdrome during the era of PF. Who went there with Prime TV at that time? I think you followed, Brother Joe, where we went. There was that foreigner called Zauko. We went to defend. As we are talking, those people are there. The issue to do with land in Mansa, who has done the advocates, Wazulu, we are telling you now that our way of politics is totally different, and this is why today our talking, you are hearing value-oriented. We are talking of you, the electorate, being the casualty as well. Because ndimo muka mama wa mwazuri. Manje mungamu uzani ati no, inemkanikapo 10 hours, 14 hours, naimo maenda. You don't seem to...
So that's what Mr. Zulu is saying, that over the years, successful governments have come and gone. You, the politicians, Mr. Ngoma, Mr. Zulu used the word, two words, extremely intelligent. You seem to be extremely intelligent when you are in opposition, criticizing the government of the day, bringing alternatives to a table, talking about solutions to the economic, political and social challenges that we face. But when you form government, it seems like maybe a magic wand has been directed, pointed in your direction, and then all the ideas gone, they vanish. Selective amnesia hits you. You seem not to remember what you are saying during your campaigns. This is what Mr. Zulu is saying.
No, Mr. Zulu, Mr. Zulu is spot on. That's why if you heard us saying here, we said collectively, because the problem is on funding. We've been here telling Andy, why can't
should you, the politicians, now be able to review or disclose to the general public who funds you? Are you subscribing to that? Actually,
before I come to that, going by Mr. Zulu, we were talking about us Zambians attaching certain values to ourselves.
We're beginning to end up, Mr.
Yes,
Goma.
we are supposed to attach certain values to ourselves, so that when a con man comes, it will be very easy for you to identify, to say this
in
is
the political space.
Yes, because if Zambians also are not going to be applying the critical thinking, these will be the problems. Because where were the Zambian people, the 18 million of them, being conned that no, in Nikabwera, Muzamba kuja katatu, in Nikabwera, fuero. There was nothing like it.
Where were you?
We've been talking. This is why now, if you follow the politics,
the Zambian people, but it's you, the politicians, that follow the Zambian people.
This is why.
Where were you?
This is why today we are proved to be right, because we were talking about land, and today we are the ones who are so much outspoken on the land. We've been talking here. Why is the president mute concerning the land? Because this should concern him. It was supposed to be an outreach endeavor to say, I don't want this nonsense, but it's quiet. So what we are trying to challenge ourselves as Zambians is that we need to love our country. What we mean by loving our country, we have a responsibility. When Dr. Richard Sirumbe is talking about labor, mwana opunzira unaosa punzira shuwa kugwira kambwiri mu state farm mukamba TI sivinga kwani sick, then mukamba no, why is wanga kamba to UPND? They should, Bazulu should just say that UPND, because UPND came with a 10-point plan, but which only one person was saying.
We've heard those sentiments before when the Zambians were told that you only need to be competent. You don't need to have a PhD or a master's to be employed. Fast forward, the case is different out there, Mr. Ngoma. We are seeing nepotism showing its ugly head when it comes to employment. We are seeing masters, PhD holders being, some of them are not being considered, but we are hearing that's the criteria. And the majority Zambians that do not even have a grade 12 certificate, with 53.3% of illiteracy levels in this country, Mr. Ngoma, they are left. They are left outside. They are left in the wind, hoping that maybe a Messiah will come one day and rescue them from being junkies, rescue them from being unproductive, Mr. Ngoma. Mr. Zulu, Mr. Piri, and our caller and our other lady that called are saying, as we conclude, they are fatigued with you, the politicians, making empty promises that you can't even fulfill. They are fatigued with you, the politicians, not coming together and working together for the common good of Zambians, but amassing wealth for you and yours and your associates. These are the concerns that are coming from our callers, Mr. Ngoma, this particular morning. And Mr. Zulu also talked about why can't you join maybe another party or form an alliance, or but do you believe in your vision and you don't want this vision to be shared with other political party members? Mr. Ngoma, as we conclude, please address those issues as we go.
Thank you very much. We want to appreciate everyone who is listening to this program, and to say that Dr. Richard Serumbe, he is coming to politics. He has come to add value to Zambian well-being by saying that this country has what it takes. And when people are saying, no, I'm a politician, they should also include themselves. Because in this manyamuka kendo ikabantu, muntu anataka kustate house huko, atawa manja to community house. But is it this pan? How much fuel is being blown on a daily basis? So we need to point the wrongs. So if Vazulu is asking to say, did you find anybody? Vazulu, if we were not in existence, I'm telling you, the issue of ZNS was not going to be here, because these people were just nagging. We are bringing ideologies here. ZNS, UPND has adopted, though shallow, but for us we mean the real ZNS, where Zambians should be up and about in this state farm, the borders, Vamtoro Pili. We can fire instantly on Vamtoro Pili. Now, because we need a country where we tap into each other's strengths. And like, you cannot tell us that the president is a farmer, then you keep a minister like Vamtoro. For what? Because this country...
What is the Minister of Agriculture?
Vamtoro, he has really...
You've mentioned his name.
This man is, he has brought misery in this country. He was kunchwala ceremony in Eastern Province. Say, no, taburopanga mafataleza na United Chemicals fertilizer, no more, you'll be... Look, they are taking fertilizer, kuti, kuma Botswana, they are taking fertilizer, kuti, kuma Tanzania, bantu wakawa na kuma meda. Then, are pushing abantu manje, kuti, no, letani ministers zanu, kuti, kwe fara failure to which we are removing you on the fee slip. Are you serious? Such a one, he was supposed to be relieved early, because we are talking of now the divorce rates. People are not buying mirimiu, brother Unga. And you have a minister going to DK kuja konga fashion sakala, wamubuing kuja asekerera. What was it to laugh about? So what we are telling the Zambian people here is that you are also part and parcel of this, because you need to be asking critical questions like you are doing now. We are happy as we want mindset transformation now. That's why in these by-elections we take advantage of the space and inform Zambians that don't allow foreigners. We are happy for Wapura, because we've been getting calls now. They're saying Konkanya Nipo, because we've been advocating for owning things of our own. So Brother Joe, Zambians, we want to appreciate everyone who has called here. And the challenge remains with us people. We are what we think. So if you are going to allow comedians to come, they lie to you, then your chorus is like, how about you, the electorate? You need to wake up now.
As we go, Mr. Ngoma, last question to you. Summing up what our viewers are just from saying or asking, or their concerns out there. I hope I represent them well. But last last question. What makes you different from other political parties? What makes you different from the Patriotic Front, from the UPND, from the Citizens First, from New Heritage Party, from PEP, Patriots for Economic Progress, from the Alliance, the United Kwacha Alliance? What makes you different from Golden Party of Zambia, headed by the man that I like to call the young man, Mr. Jackson Silavwe? What makes you different as the leadership movement? What makes you stand out, Mr. Ngoma? What makes you, what will make the Zambian people to merit your attention as a political party?
To start with, leadership movement, we have a president who has reached the last bench of education. He's a PhD holder. Dr. Richard Silumbi has just reduced himself. He's an engineer.
We have an economist right now, Mr. Ngoma, and we had a lawyer. We've had a lawyer before. Yeah, we had a trade unionist. We had a teacher as our first president. What makes Dr. Richard Silumbi different?
We need a producer this time around in State House. Not a person who just specializes in counting money without knowing where that money is coming from. No. That's why you cannot talk of an economist claiming to be an economist where there is no backup to do with production. When you talk of production, we mean local production, where you put policies. Zambians should be taken on board, not foreigners, and the land should be the preserve for the Zambian people. We give the title deeds. We make sure that the Mineral Reserve Agency, just like people take their maize to FRA, we should allow Zambians with pieces of land through ZNS, because remember we are doing metallurgy at the CBU, and at Unza here we are doing geology. We are supposed to give the young people the leverage now to own these mines, just like DACO does. So Dr. Richard Silumbi, what he has come to do is to say, take your manifestos to these people. As we are talking right now, we are the only political party which has bought a lot of airspace locally. So, taking our manifesto, so if you listen to live radio, on Tuesdays we have programs, DC Talk, you talk of Millennium Television, including even you people here. When we come like this, we don't have to be so petty and become so much enemies to each other. That's why we are not aggrieved ourselves when these people are adopting our ideologies. And this is why, as we are talking right now, UK, they have come up with the national state farms. What is that? They know that food is very, very important. So when you have a government which tells you that they have everything in the name of education, we are telling them that muntu alipali chakudya. So Vasirumbe, the difference is that opunzira na osa punzira zaka kangwira pamozi. There will be nothing like punzira na osa, because we want labor. Labor should be translated to forex. As we are speaking right now, we are supposed to be talking of fertilizer. We are supposed to make quick solutions. Fuel. We are going to strike cheap deals with Russia. We are supposed to be docking energy now, immediate energy from Russia using Mozambique corridor there. So as we speak, we are not just baby crying, we've been to Badura. We give solutions. That the only way is when you have your people engaged, and like crying at no engineers. But the question is, how much have you invested in your so-called engineers? When they invite you, you don't go there. The president has never attended an EIZ meeting, okay? And he's there crying. He invited bankers. Why can't he go to the bankers and cry that because it's the bankers who are called the State House. So in wrapping up, let me give the number so that we continue deliberating with our friends. The number is 0973 60 7500. 0973 60 7500. The other one 0966 57 28 84. 0966 57 28 84. So Zambians, we are all to blame into this. Not the politicians, because we are all politicians, in case people don't know. There are those who are passive and those who are active. So we have a bigger responsibility, more especially on our land, our inheritance. You can forget about all this. Look at the part which is trying to hand over a future to the future generation, the great Zambia. It's a leadership movement. So we have the tablet to do with hope. And Dr. Richard Silumbi is not going to rest here. He's going to continue speaking to the generation to come, because our also want to warn them, the youths. They should go and ask for forgiveness from their parents we are where we are because these children, they were told, Ngalani Panzi, Bali will fix it, Bali will fix it. And they didn't understood what fixing meant. Today, vambopeze kamanje vana ava vankala manyumba 40 years mwana ni youth akali pa nyumba vamusunga. Imagine. So as we speak now, it's support your local team. Local is like Zambians. Let's also be critical thinkers and like to be taken by these politicians when they say free education. What does the word free mean? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ngoma, for coming through. And thank you, the viewer out there, and a gentle reminder to all our viewers and stakeholders out there that the views expressed on this particular program do not in any way reflect those of Camnet TV. Thank you so much to my director upstairs, and thank you for the extra minutes. And thank you, Mr. Ngoma, for coming through, representing the opposition party, the leadership movement, this particular morning, headed or led by Dr. Richard Sulumbe. Thank you so much. I have been your host. Joe Smarter is my name. We'll see you when you see us. Thank you so much. Good morning and God bless.